Before we start, I have to warn you, what you're about to hear is something the food industry never, ever wants you to know. There is one specific carbohydrate quietly hiding in nearly every single product on your grocery store shelves. It spikes your blood sugar faster than pure table sugar. It creates more inflammation in your body than most junk food, and it's consumed by almost every child and adult, every single day, without anyone even realizing it. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because this is the one carb that might be silently destroying your metabolism. Today, we're exposing the #1 most dangerous carbohydrate on the planet. And no, it's not sugar. Not even close. This carb causes blood sugar to skyrocket far beyond what sugar can do, and yet, it's not even labeled as a sugar on nutrition facts. It silently slips into your bloodstream, fuels type 2 diabetes, contributes to fatty liver disease, and drives the insulin resistance that nearly half of all adults now unknowingly have. This carb is a primary driver of visceral fat. That's the deadly deep belly fat that forms around your organs. It completely wipes out your good gut microbes and feeds the bad ones, triggering inflammation, especially in your gut and your joints. And if you're worried about the most dangerous forms of LDL cholesterol, those tiny, dense particles that burrow into your arteries, this is the carb that accelerates that entire process. Now here's where it gets really creepy. It's marketed everywhere as zero sugar. It costs food companies about 20 cents per pound to produce because the government subsidizes it, which means you're indirectly paying for it through your taxes. And nutritionally, it has zero value. Its only purpose is to act as a cheap filler, to bulk up the food that corporations want to sell you at a massive profit. The average person unknowingly consumes somewhere between 65 to 250 pounds of this stuff every single year. That's more than most people weigh. Over 21 billion pounds of this carb are produced annually because it's in everything: gluten-free foods, baby formula, baked goods, protein bars, sports foods, snacks, you name it. So, can you guess what it is? It's a starch, but not your grandma's potatoes. It's not vegetable starch or anything you'd find in nature. I'm talking about industrial starch. Things like modified food starch, cornstarch, and melted dextrin. So why is this kind of starch so dangerous? Well, a natural starch is basically a long chain of sugar molecules. But when companies heavily modify it in a lab, they break down all of its natural fibrous structure. Those molecular chains become so weak and fragile that the moment this powder hits your mouth, it converts into pure sugar faster than glucose itself. This isn't really food anymore. It's an engineered sugar bomb disguised as a simple carbohydrate. To modify it, they use a cocktail of chemicals. For example, sodium tripolyphosphate has been linked to kidney stress, vascular calcification, and accelerated artery aging. Then there's vinyl acetate, which is classified as a possible human carcinogen, and sodium hypochlorite. Yes, that's bleach. It's regulated in our drinking water as a carcinogen, but for some reason, not when it's used to process food starch. Another chemical, widely used, even in infant formulas, has been shown in studies that excess consumption may disrupt mitochondrial function, the tiny power plants inside every one of your cells. But all of these chemicals fall under a convenient loophole called GRAS, which stands for Generally Recognized as Safe. It's pretty ironic, because none of them have actually been tested for long-term safety in humans. This starch is designed to be invisible, and that's the trick. Go look at a nutrition label. It might say something like 16 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, and 0 grams of sugar. So, where are the other 15 grams of carbs coming from? That's the invisible industrial starch. It doesn't have to be listed separately under the nutrition facts. You'll only find it if you squint and read the tiny ingredient list, where you'll see words like modified food starch, cornstarch, wheat starch, or maltodextrin hiding in plain sight. When you consume this starch, it creates damaged proteins that clog up your tissues, contribute to diabetic complications, worsen Alzheimer's plaques, and cause liver fibrosis. It also produces toxic byproducts like aldehydes, the same class of chemicals used in embalming fluids. Another compound it produces is responsible for that horrible day-after hangover feeling you get from alcohol. And yes, it gets even worse. The deadliest combination is heat, seed oils, and this industrial starch. Nobody just eats powdered starch by itself. We eat it combined with seed oils, heated at very high temperatures. And this combination forms a toxic sludge inside your body. Think about our most common foods. Potato chips are about 65% starch and 30% seed oil. Crackers are often 70% starch and 25% seed oil. Breakfast cereals can be 80% starch and sugar combined. Bread is around 75% starch, often with added seed oils. And French fries, they're about 80% starch and 15% seed oil. Even things you wouldn't expect, like hot dogs, often contain modified food starch as a filler. It doesn't matter if it's organic or not. The industrial starch content is often the same. This is the main reason why ultra-processed foods, which now make up between 55% to 70% of modern diets, are so incredibly harmful. Our kids get about 65% of their daily calories from these foods. For teens, it's 70%, and adults average around 55%. And hidden deep inside all those foods are pounds and pounds of industrial starch. So let's end with a final warning. Industrial starch isn't food. It doesn't nourish you. It doesn't repair your tissues or build your body. It is simply a cheap, chemical-modified filler that mimics sugar and damages your health, arguably more aggressively than sugar itself. So start reading those ingredient labels and be aware of what you're really eating. In the next video, we're going to dive deep into why seed oils, when they're combined with this starch, become an even bigger metabolic disaster. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe for more.